Hello new and old friends and very unfamiliar faces. Today we're going to Carbone as a New Yorker and as an Italian girl who has never gone a reservation there apparently. Oh, actually wait, before we get started, make sure you're subscribed. I'm going to start off with I am not going to sugarcoat or romanticize anything. I'm going to be totally bluntly honest with you. It's the only way I know how to be in my life. So with that being said, pre to going to Carbone is waiting a month to get a reservation at Carbone. I had begged my boyfriend for 6 months to figure out how to get a reservation. He dabbled around, notably enough. Every first of the month at 10 a.m. the month following's reservations open up. There is not many to choose from because I believe that they have somewhat of a running wait list for in case celebrities or higher profile restaurateurs want to go and experience Carbone. So us peasants have to make reservations. Moving forth to the night of the reservation, and when I say night, I mean night. Our reservation was at 11:15 p.m. I guess they didn't know what we looked like. I guess they didn't know how we were as people, if we were important in society or not. But I guess if you're important in society, you wouldn't have to wait on the first of the month and have a reservation at an Italian restaurant in New York City when there's thousands of Italian restaurants in New York City. But I digress. We drove into the West Village and parked our car about 2 blocks away, mainly because they changed all the fucking parking over there, and it used to always be free and it used to always be awesome and you were able to park there, but now they made them all no standings. But let's continue. I was actually really in high spirits, which I typically am. When I was entering Carbone, we walked from the outside. It smelled a little bit like cat piss, maybe possibly like human piss, and it was great. No one was really out. It was a Wednesday night at 11:15, which is kind of an odd day to go out to eat at a dinner reservation. Thursday night would have been awesome, but again, I'm sure that they reserve the Thursday night spots for people that kind of frequent Carbone or people that they kind of want to have in there. The place is small. I did not know this. I have never actually been inside of it. I pass it all the time because I do a lot of work in the West Village, and I just grew up kind of walking to and fro and not even realizing that was the location that it was in until a few years back when Carbone started blowing up really so much. I want to say on the internet and on TikTok for the spicy rigatoni and everybody's take on it. I really totally blame Haley Baldwin for that, but it's great. She's created this little niche pocket of the internet where people really didn't realize that you could eat spicy pasta, I guess. So we walked into the restaurant and were immediately greeted by the hostess who was standing to our left, and to our left and beyond was this small room. And to be quite frank with you, I thought that it would be bigger, and this makes sense now in our reservation process because there are not many tables there. There is a small room right in the front, and then there's a small room right to the left. We were seated to the left-hand side, closer to not the bathrooms, but in that bathroom wing, as well as behind this little bar cart area. It was a cornered bar. We kept walking behind. It looked like there was another room. It looked more private, but at the same time it did not look very big, so I'm not sure how many tables were there. I didn't really count. But for us, we were seated actually, I think, at a good seat. Our table was quite big, it was large, and I was with my back against a wall, and there was this like barn door right kind of in front of me. Moving on, because I know we want to get to the food and the service. I was quite alarmed when our waiter came over to the table and didn't really ask us if we've ever been there before. He didn't really help us digest the menu because the menu was actually a lot smaller than I had anticipated. I mean, it was theoretically the same menu as they have online, but the menu was humongous. It was bigger than me. It was bigger than my arms. I'm quite tiny. I'm only 5'3", so this menu, opening it up, I felt like I was a little kid reading my grandpa's newspaper. It made me feel uncomfortable and awkward because I almost wish that our waiter was like, what are you into? What are you here for? Da da da. Because I've been to other restaurants that are way less money that kind of serve you in that manner. And that's not what happened. But again, it was 11:15 at night, so I don't blame him entirely. The restaurant starts off by giving you a complimentary bread basket. In this bread basket was garlic bread, kind of like a toast sort of bread, and I think like a pizza sort of bread. Now, I immediately went to the pizza bread first because I'm a huge lover of sauce, and I was hopeful that this sauce would be like their standard marinara sauce or like a tomato sauce. I ate it. It wasn't warm. It was actually just like cold bread. That threw me off a little bit, and I'm not like trying to complain whatsoever in this video. I feel very like grateful that I was able to kind of put some money aside and eat at a fancy dinner because I don't do that often. I'm a very cook in my house kind of girl. The bread was okay. So I was like, oh man, like I was waiting for like my world to change. And then I went and tried the garlic bread, and the garlic bread was actually really good, but I will say my uncle makes better garlic bread. So as well as freebies, they also give you a giardiniera salad, which if you don't know what that is, it's pickled vegetables. It's like Mediterranean kind of Italian vegetables, and it's like cauliflower and carrots and sometimes peppers. Sometimes you'll get celery. There's a bunch of different things in it, and it was actually really delicious. It felt homemade. It did not feel like it was out of a jar. It was tasty. It was soft. It wasn't so crunchy and hard. Sometimes giardiniera salads are like super hard to crunch on and you're like want a different texture, but really good, really delicious. I was absolutely enthralled. Also, I forgot another freebie was salami. I'm a vegetarian, so I don't eat that, and my boyfriend also does not eat pork, so he could not eat that, but it looked good. It looked like very thinly sliced. Before we were able to order, there was actually a birthday at the table diagonal from us, so all of the waiters and all of the staff came around and started singing happy birthday in Italian, which I thought was really nice and super lovely. You really felt that sense of, okay, I am in an Italian restaurant, so let me act like it and order some pasta. So that got me in the mood to eat, although I was getting a little bit sluggish, and we ordered a drink. Drink in question was an amaretto sour. I'm not a drinker. I actually am like quite sober, but I will taste drinks if I want to taste them. So I tasted this one and it was delicious. I have not, and I am not kidding with you, had a drink that tasted this good, I think, ever. Used to like party girl life where drinks kind of taste like alcohol and they're not meant to taste good. They're not meant to be casual. They're meant to get you drunk. This drink was just beautifully crafted. It was obviously a mixologist that made this. It wasn't like a college bar. And I think my new favorite drink is an amaretto sour, and I will be chasing that drink and that exact delicious taste until probably the end of time, and hopefully somewhere else other than Carbone could make that, because if you really want it, you can't wait a month for the reservation. So good. Imagine like I become a drinker again just specifically for this, because I've never found a drink that I like. This is delicious. So let's get quickly back to freebies, because the big idea of Italian restaurants is indulging in an antipasto. So our antipasto also had a parm wheel. So there was a man that was walking around with a giant wheel of Parmesan cheese, and he was cutting it and giving it to people that just sat down. So he gave my boyfriend quite a big chunk, and obviously it's just luck of the draw with what he was kind of chopping off of the block. And so he gave him a big chunk, and then he gave me like a medium chunk, and it was so delicious, so great, like very fresh. Obviously it just came from the wheel. I'm a cheese girl through and through, so I took my boyfriend's cheese because he couldn't finish it because it was so big and he didn't want to get full. So I went ahead and I paired that cheese with my pizza bread as long as the garlic bread. I actually took a little piece of the cheese and I put it on the garlic bread and took a bite. The garlic bread was very crunchy, so I liked the kind of texture of the both of them mixed together. I'm trying to be discreet and it's not working.
Just so weird.
Just bite it. Jordan is... Guys, look at this man. This man is from Staten Island and he's sitting here cutting his garlic bread with a fork and a knife. He's Jewish. He's very Jewish. And all in all, I think the Parmesan cheese was a really nice palate cleanser between me feeling like the bread wasn't as amazing as I feel like it could have been. Also though, just because I feel like I've had a lot of really good bread in my life. I'm born and raised in New York City. Brooklyn has such like amazing bakeries and amazing Italian restaurants and places and literal bread factories and bread ovens where you walk past buildings sometimes and you know it's a bread factory. I have a place very close to my house that it's literally a little warehouse attached to this deli, and you walk anywhere in that 3-block radius and you smell that sweet bread being baked, and bread never tastes the way that it smells, which is super disappointing, but I've definitely had better breads. So it kind of goes without saying that when you go to Carbone, there's a few things that you need to get. One of them being the mozzarella that they cut in front of you on the table with a scissor. So this is a mozzarella, and I think it were prosciutto appetizer. In the antipasto, they brought more pork. We actually had told the waiter I was gonna just deal with it and just have the prosciutto on the table and not eat it, because again, I don't eat meat and my boyfriend again does not eat pork. But he asked, do you have any allergies? Do you da-da-da? So my boyfriend was kind of just like, I just don't eat pork. And he was like, oh, well, you ordered the mozzarella and pork. Do you want me to do roasted peppers instead? and I was too embarrassed to ask him to change anything because it's a small menu. It's a restaurant that kind of isn't going to make a lot of substitutions, and I already went in with the mentality of I might waste something, but I could always bring it home to somebody else who will eat that. He very quickly gave us a helpful advice and switched it into roasted peppers, which I love roasted peppers. And when I tell you, when this man came over with the mozzarella that he cut right in front of us, it was warm, it was like buttery, it was very fresh. Great. I have no complaints about the damn cheese. I could go on about the cheese for the rest of this video, and I think you guys probably already got the hint of that. I will say wholeheartedly, they were the best roasted peppers I have had in my life. This like tangy, this soft, easy to chew, easy to digest. They were very skinny, they were very frail. They were everything that I wanted in a replacement for meat. I wish that the bread came out not at the same time as the mozzarella, but I wish it came out at the same temperature as the mozzarella, because it would have been so nice to have the mozzarella and put it on the bread with some roasted peppers and eat it, because that's like my perfect bite. We ordered the Caesar salad. I was told that the Caesar salad is something that you have to get. I saw all over TikTok that this is something that is so delicious, so amazing. You're allowed to have it with or without anchovies. So the waiter did ask, considering he heard that we didn't eat pork, he said, well, do you eat fish? I said, no, I do not. He said, I will let you know that the Caesar dressing is already made and it does have anchovy product in it. In my defense, I believe that he was talking about Worcestershire sauce, and I frequently eat Worcestershire sauce because sometimes it's just in a lot of things and you can't help it. So I kind of just turned a blind eye to it and said, that's fine, bring me the damn Caesar salad. It's okay, as long as there's no like real fishies in there. Was under the impression that they made the Caesar salad tableside for everybody, and apparently they don't. I don't know if they pick and choose who to make the Caesar salad for tableside, or if they just make it for big parties family style and they do the salad right in front of you for a giant table, but we were only 2 people, so they did not do that. I think that they adjust their sizing dependent on how many people are at your party and at your table specific. So we did not have that experience of watching them make the Caesar salad and watching like lemon and the Caesar and the pepper and the cheese and have them flipping the lettuce leaves into the wooden bowl. So that was kind of disappointing, I will say, but he did bring out the Caesar salad, and it was not the best Caesar salad that I ever had. The croutons for the Caesar salad was the best crouton I ever had. And so the roasted peppers, like, so good. I like to Is that ours? We're still eating. He didn't do it yet. It's a give and a take. I'm a salad girl. I eat salad no matter where I am, where I go. So I've had a lot to compare it to, and it wasn't as bright as I was anticipating. I wanted a little bit more lemon, and it was a little more on the heartier, heavier, creamier side. And instead of creamy, it was kind of more dense, if that makes sense. So the Caesar dressing itself was not very thin. It was quite thick. And it was good. I have nothing wrong with a thick dressing, but the croutons were definitely the star of the show for that Caesar salad. So he put it on the table, we ate it, it was good. I had my little array of antipasto going on, and I was starting to get quite full, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of took a moment to like appreciate the pasta in front of me, because I've been thinking about this for months and months and months, because I always see it being posted. I always say everybody, oh my god, so delicious, so delicious. My first bite, I really went in with open arms, because at this rate, I had already felt a little distanced by the waiter because he hadn't filled my water at all, and I was thirsty and I already finished my water, so I really didn't have anything to drink. I felt like at a restaurant that's really pricey like that, I just feel like the service could have been like a little bit on it. So I was trying to take all of these things that were happening, like me not liking the bread and the service being a little weird and us being in the corner kind of ish forgotten about, but not really. I don't know if it was situational or not. I took all of those thoughts and I threw them away, and I said, you are here for one thing and one thing only. You are here for this fucking macaroni. So I took my first bite, and within my first bite, I will say, and as you could see by my face in these next few clips, I didn't know what to think about it. Oh my gosh, perfect. I don't think this is fresh macaroni. It's good, but
It's spicy.
it's spicy rigatoni.
I know, but it's actually spicy.
Yeah. I just feel like when you're Italian, everything's so hardly over hyped. Because my dad is such a cooker, as well as my grandparents. When they were alive, I think they would giggle at me if I said how much time I spent to get a reservation at an Italian restaurant. They'd be like, why didn't you just come over for dinner? You know what I mean? I didn't know what to think about it for two reasons. One being, I was battling the idea of saying out loud, this is so overhyped. And two, I was battling the thought of, wow, I could have just went to Little Italy and had an arrabbiata pasta and been so enthralled in it. But again, we're here for the experience. We're not here to nitpick. It was fine. It wasn't amazing. It was good. It wasn't something I would want to go back for. It's not something I would specifically crave. It was spicy after the fact, but not spicy enough for me to be like, ooh, spicy rigatoni. I eat my stuff very, very spicy, like too spicy to the point where I think that my taste buds are just messed up, because I didn't really think that was considerable enough to be called spicy rigatoni, and it didn't have an initial punch. It was like a punch after. I could not try my boyfriend's steak. He ordered the steak that was $100. He didn't order the most expensive one. He did order the ribeye, and he likes that. He's fine with that. It came in like this very brown sort of sauce, and it was supposed to have also pancetta or prosciutto on it as well, and the waiter went ahead and took that off, which was really nice. From my boyfriend's mouth, the steak was good. It was fine. It was not the best steak I ever had. It was different, and I probably wouldn't really want to eat it again. That was verbatim what he said, so take that with a grain of salt, or take that however you want. I get really uncomfortable when I go in a bathroom and I can't figure out the lock situation on the door. So like I kind of have a little bit of anxiety right now because it's a pocket door and I keep like opening it and closing it, and I shut the camera off to not show you guys because I'm literally insane, and that freaks me out knowing that I may possibly, someone might walk in on me. But here's the Carbone bathroom. It's so dark if you guys care. Photos on the walls. This is a little window cut out. Obviously there has to be like a curtain because we're in the city on like the first level. It's a cute little pot. Nice candles are burning. Are those ones? That one's real too. All the candles in here are real. I would say everything's kind of clean, but someone, oh of course, the girl who just left threw the fucking toilet paper on the floor. She was so drunk. That's always really a great time. The garbage should, I was gonna say all the garbage should be cleaned, but it's also like super, super late. We're like probably the last few tables in here. And I actually am gonna pee now and use the bathroom. Here's the little pedestal sink. Actually, this is quite cute. And I love these napkins. I was gonna say, oh, I'll steal some, but I don't have a pocketbook on me right now to throw it in. I just carried my camera to the bathroom. So let me pee, and we'll get back into the regular scheduled programming. I will say, I think the best part of Carbone is the fact that they do provide so many complimentary items, or also known as freebies. They handed us 2 rainbow cookies after my bathroom excursion, and they were free, complimentary on the house. I love rainbow cookies. They're my favorite. These rainbow cookies were okay. Granted, they were free. They were a bit dry. They were a little more cakey. They weren't like juicy and succulent in the way that rainbow cookies should be, with like very fine, delicious, like jelly and almond paste. They weren't super almondy and they weren't very moist, for a lack of better word. Still good, still very happy and super satisfied that they gave us a freebie in general, because we were kind of questioning and teetering on the fact of even ordering dessert. So the waiter did eventually come over to us quite late after the fact of us sitting there for a while and having to ask for our own, please wrap this, please whatever. Like, nobody was very attentive to us throughout this entire process, which was obviously a bummer, because that comes with the experience of eating somewhere that is fancy or luxury. He did share with us the dessert menu, which was only two things. One was like a chocolate something, and I'm not really into chocolate, and one was a lemon cheesecake. I'm gonna tell you right now, best part of the entire dinner were the things that you would not expect to be the best part of dinner. The lemon cheesecake, best cheesecake I have had in a really, 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 really long time. Succulent, juicy, bright, airy, refreshing. It was perfect after eating kind of a heavy coated meal. Drink that we got, the one cocktail that we got, delicious, the amaretto sour. I would absolutely be craving that probably for the rest of eternity. Those, of course, are two things that you would not just go to Carbone or a fancy Italian restaurant and eat. And last but not least, we walked out of Carbone. I did steal a hell of a lot of candies, pineapple candies from the candy bowl. I didn't steal them. They're meant for you to take on your way out, but I did pocket a lot of them. So let's get into our thoughts of, was it worth it compared to what the price point ultimately ended up being. Dun, 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 dun. The grand total for this dinner was $252.60. Now, the plus side is that when you make your reservation that whole month prior, like we spoke about, you have to put down a $100 deposit. That $100 deposit goes toward your bill. If you cancel, I think you only get half back. I'm not sure the logistics of that. The day of, we actually only had to pay $143.72. Really expensive meal for mostly, I feel like, not. You can really just go to a small cafe or something that is less luxurious and fancy and have a way better meal, because I have had way better meals in dive bars, as well as little hole-in-the-wall places in Little Italy on Mulberry Street in New York City. I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that it gave you a little bit of insight into the world of luxurious New York City and how unluxurious it possibly can be. And make sure that you're subscribed to my channel, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!